All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we have ourselves a story from Selaco again. Now, if you guys forgot what Selaco is, that's that indie game that was featured in the Real Game Awards that had an absolute meltdown. The developer had a meltdown over being featured in that award because he was not asked whether or not he, was going to be featured in that award or not. He just found out the hard way when all the mainstream gaming journalists were out there trying to cancel him for being showcased in the Real Game Awards that he wasn't even partaking in of his own free will. So they made him bend the knee and essentially forced him to make a statement. And the guy panicked. He's like, no, 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 no. I'm not part of this hate group. I'm not part of these anti-woke people. No, that's not me. I'm totally part of the cult. Don't kick me out. That's what happened. Well, now apparently there's been a thread over on Steam that's getting a lot of attention. So much attention that they were forced to lock down the thread because it was getting way too much attention. Again, ladies and gentlemen, what's happening over here with Selaco is just another example of what happens when you bend the knee to the mob that doesn't buy video games, right? That's just what happens. And the funny thing is, the developers over at Selaco are finding out that a lot of people that bought their game already are people that watch things like the Real Game Awards, are people that watch content like side scrollers or even my channel, for example. There are people out there that bought this game already that do watch our content. And you are essentially abandoning them all because you want to make a statement for somebody who was never going to buy your game in the first place. When Alyssa Mercante called you out and said, hey, did you do XYZ? Or when other people called you out, you are bending the knee to these people who will never, ever financially support you in any tangible way whatsoever. They won't even support you on social media. They are just making you be an example of their agenda. So let's get into this video, guys. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push this out into that YouTube algorithm. So the thread that started it all was from somebody called the Coda Bear, and it says devs are grade A toxic. You got a lot of engagement here, multiple different awards given that got this person Steam points. But anyway, it says, I was waiting for the game to get more updates, but with them currently screeching on X about Stuttering Craig, I'm going to refund since you don't care about money, right? Absolutely sad. I hope Civi rescinds any sort of praise for this game. Now it says very quickly, and keep in mind, this is at the top because the developer decided to get involved in this post. Before then, there were so many comments, 1,685 comments, and absolute destruction over at Steam. But let's read the developer's response before we actually get into some of the messages that followed. So it says, hey everyone, after 1,670 messages, we think this topic has run its course. Of course you do. Drifting further and further away from the things that inspired it. Despite that, we've read it all, and we thank those of you who left constructive criticism. This entire situation stems from a poorly crafted response to a direct question on social media about our involvement with the Real Game Awards show, which we were unaware of at the time. In retrospect, we should have simply insisted that our inclusion was not a paid spot and that we were unaware of the show altogether. The official Selaco account is not the place to be sharing personal opinions. Well, if that's the case, who's doing it, right? Who is doing it? Who is doing those official personal opinions, right? Who's actually doing this on the Selaco account? Because if you got this person, Cockatrice or whoever this is, saying that this is not the place for personal opinions to be, then who allowed that to continue? Who even allowed that to happen? Why didn't you delete it? You know what I mean? Like, you guys, so many questions here. It seems like it's damage control after the fact. But anyway, regardless of our opinions on the show or the creators, we have not and refused to disparage or belittle our players and community. We are still making the same game for you that we set out to in the beginning, and nothing has changed. This is the comment that you should have made from day one, in my opinion, right? The comment that went out over on the official Selaco page was not the comment that you needed to go out. You needed to make something like this so that way everybody involved understands where you stand, which is, hey, we're apolitical. We just want you to play our game. Whether you feel some sort of way about XYZ person is irrelevant. We just want you to experience Selaco for what Selaco is, and that's it. But no, unfortunately, more proof that one person can ruin an entire game's image. We usually see this happen with community managers, which is most likely who was running that official account. Most likely, I don't know for sure, but I really don't know. But ultimately, all it takes is one person to ruin the image. So then it says to the Selaco community, we've been having long conversations about how we can avoid an incident like this moving forward. To put it bluntly, this situation sucks and we never should have let it happen in the first place. The community is a huge part of Selaco, and seeing cracks appear in something we've built up is heartbreaking. Selaco is the first game we've worked on, and it's apparent that there's still much to learn for us when it comes to interactions with the public. We're now wiser and will continue more carefully. You have our word, Altered Orbit Studios. So again, ladies and gentlemen, this comment right here from the Selaco developers is not a bad one, right? It's not a bad comment, but it is damage control. Ultimately, at the end of the day, there is a person who's working over at your studios, whether it's one person, two people, maybe it's all of you. Maybe it's all of them who thought that this was the right way to go about it. And now that they're seeing backlash, now that they're seeing refunds, now that they're seeing actual damage to the words that they spewed, perhaps now they're trying to backtrack and pretend it's only one person who did this on the official account, and that somebody shared their personal opinions that don't represent the company. Well, if that's the case, you should probably fire the person who decided to share their personal opinions on the company page, because that's a really bad look, and they're going to ruin your video game and the image for your game in the long run. So let's see what some of these messages are saying. Now, it's the wild, wild west out here, guys. It's the Steam forums. Obviously, everything goes here on the Steam forums. We got somebody called Grimno. Says, you will see several indie devs that you suggested that we wanted to feature for free, Stuttering Craig. If you're making some kind of award show being viewed by 4,000 people and feature people like someone currently battling PDF allegations for dating and grooming a 15-year-old girl till she was legal, they're talking about Razor Fist, on another who is currently in a harassment lawsuit, then I'm pretty sure you would still need to ask the developer if they want their work displayed and attached to it. So again, just because Smash AT is being sued doesn't suddenly make him this evil person in the world. You know what I mean? Like, to make this correlation between the two, between Razor Fist and his allegations and Smash AT and his lawsuit, the fact that you put them in the same sentence and try to make them hold equal power is insane to me. But again, people will be what they are because they hate Smash AT. That's just what it is. The developer is very vocal. So why they weren't even asked is beyond me. And the fact some folks are trying to claim the devs should be happy with free exposure reminds me so much of folks trying to pay artists with exposure. Nobody likes that. That is universally mocked. You don't do that. Now, again, false equivalencies. I don't understand why you are trying to equate the two. It's a trailer that they put out on the internet. And again, I understand the argument that it's no different than a YouTuber reacting to it. But I am actually on the side of people saying that he should have asked. But I understand that it goes against the idea of the Real Game Awards, which is something that is voted by gamers for gamers, right? Gamers wanted this game to be showcased, and it was recommended, and he did it because that's what the gamers wanted. And at the end of the day, he didn't realize that the developer was going to be a woke psychopath. It's hard to assume someone's political leanings. You really shouldn't have to, right? You shouldn't have to assume someone's political leanings, because the entire purpose of the show is to avoid political leanings, right? It's supposed to be apolitical, just about the video games, only about the gamers. That's what it's supposed to be. Unfortunately, though, the developer decided to make it about politics like they always do. We got another one saying, did they say something nasty about Stuttering Craig? I only noticed this game after the Real Game Awards and it looks interesting, but thought that they only stated on X that they hadn't heard of the show until some people complained about them having a trailer shown on it after the fact. Was there more to it? I don't see any posts on X, so perhaps something got deleted. If you don't see the post on X, it definitely got deleted, because Selaco 100% came out and attacked not only Stuttering Craig, but the Real Game Awards as well, and one of the developers decided to double down and make his own post on his own social media page attacking Stuttering Craig and doubling down against the hatred against the Real Game Awards. So basically what ended up happening, short story, is that Alyssa Mercante and other mainstream gaming journalists got together and said, hey, we're going to hold you accountable for being in the Real Game Awards. And one of the developers freaked out, decided to have a tirade about how they're totally not part of the Real Game Awards and how they wouldn't be part of these awful people, even though it's gamers voting for gaming things. They're calling them awful people. And eventually it ended up causing a meltdown that people found out about. And now we are here where we have an almost 1,700 comment thread being locked by the developers themselves. So Selaco is going to F around and find out at this point. But I do like the comment that they left. I just wish this was the comment that they left in the beginning instead of the nonsense that we got, which spiraled into their game being hated. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy. And if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate if you get to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.